Ambassador Lee Minho walked through the massive doors of the Galactic Council chamber. His black suit looked tiny compared to the enormous alien beings sitting in their floating thrones. The chamber was so big that his footsteps echoed like thunder. The crystalline creatures called Vorthak hung in the air like giant diamonds. Their leader, Thexmar, glowed with cold blue light. On the other side, the Zephyrian beings looked like floating jellyfish made of pure energy. Their thoughts spoke directly into everyone's minds. Minho stopped at the center of the room. Captain Park Ji-woo stood beside him, wearing his military uniform with pride. Both men looked small, but they stood straight and tall. "Honor Council," Minho began, his voice clear and strong. "I come here today to demand justice for the murder of 3,000 human civilians." The crystal being Thexmar pulsed with brighter light. When it spoke, its voice sounded like breaking glass. "Ah, the young humans come to complain again. How tiresome." The colony ship New Soul was destroyed by Krillian raiders. Minho continued. "They attacked without warning in neutral space. Space that you promised to protect." Elder Quenthak of the Zephyrians sent thoughts into everyone's minds. The words felt cold and sharp. Young species must learn that space travel has dangers. Your people chose to leave their safe little planet. Captain Park stepped forward. This was not about dangers of space travel. This was murder. Pirates destroyed a civilian ship carrying families, children, and elderly people. They took nothing. They killed everyone just because they could. The chamber filled with clicking sounds as other alien species showed their agreement with the council. The insect-like hegemony representatives rubbed their claws together. The gas cloud beings called Nethri swirled with dismissive colors. Humans have been part of this council for only 50 years. Thexmar's voice grew louder. You still think like primitive children. You want revenge for every small loss. This is not how civilized species behave. Minho felt his jaw tighten, but he kept his voice calm. We asked for justice, not revenge. The Krillians broke galactic law. They must face consequences. The Krillian Confederacy serves useful purposes. Quenthak's mind voice carried amusement. They keep smaller species from spreading too quickly across the galaxy. They maintain order in their own way. Order? Park's voice rose with anger. They are pirates and murderers. They are a tool. Thexmar pulsed with brighter light, just as humans are tools. You mine resources, build ships, and fight in our proxy wars. Each species has its place in the galactic order. The other council members made sounds of agreement. Some laughed with clicking noises. Others hummed with approval. Minho realized they were all enjoying this moment. They liked seeing humans beg for help that would never come. The council has made its decision, Quenthak announced. Earth will pay tribute of 1 million credits for continued protection from worse fates. You will accept the loss of your colony ship as the price of learning respect. You have 30 standard days to comply. Minho stood silent for a long moment. Around him, the alien beings waited to see him break. They expected him to cry, to beg, to show the weakness they believed all young species possessed. Instead, he smiled. And if Earth refuses? Minho asked quietly. Thexmar's crystal body blazed with threatening light. Then humanity will learn why elder species rule the galaxy. Your little blue planet has no defense against combined might of the Council. We have destroyed rebellious species before. Their worlds are now empty monuments to the price of defiance. The chamber grew quiet. Every alien being focused on the 2 small humans standing in the center of the room. They waited for fear, for submission, for the humans to realize how powerless they truly were. Captain Park leaned close to Minho and whispered, "Sir, should we contact Earth for instructions?" Minho shook his head slowly, never taking his eyes off the council members. "No need, Captain. Earth has been listening to every word of this conversation. They always listen when their people are threatened." Something in his tone made the nearest council members shift uncomfortably. Thexmar's light dimmed slightly. "You have 30 days, Quenthak repeated, but the mind voice sounded less certain than before. Minho bowed formally to the council. "We understand perfectly. 30 days to show you what humans are truly capable of when pushed too far. 30 days to demonstrate why underestimating Earth has always been a fatal mistake." He turned and walked toward the exit with Park beside him. Their footsteps echoed in the silent chamber. None of the council members spoke as the humans left. As the doors closed behind them, Park whispered, "Sir, what did you mean about Earth listening?" Minho's smile grew wider. "Captain, do you really think we would send ambassadors to negotiate with aliens without ensuring our safety? Earth has been watching this council very carefully. Today, they finally heard everything they needed to hear." Behind them, in the chamber, the council members began discussing the strange confidence the human ambassador had shown. None of them understood that they had just made the worst mistake in galactic history. They had threatened Earth's children and given humanity exactly 30 days to prepare their response. The first sign something was wrong came at exactly midnight, Council Standard Time. Security Chief Velthak noticed it on his routine patrol of the diplomatic quarter. The human embassy was dark, not just quiet, completely empty. Velthak pressed his tentacled face against the transparent walls. Inside, the furniture sat exactly where it always had. The human flag still hung on the wall, but every human was gone. Not a single person remained in the building that housed 50 staff members just hours before. "This is impossible," Velthak muttered, checking his scanner. "How do 50 people disappear without triggering a single alarm?" He contacted the spaceport immediately. The response shocked him. Every human ship had departed during the night shift. Cargo vessels, passenger transports, even maintenance shuttles, all gone. The departure logs showed proper clearance codes, but no destinations. Within 6 hours, reports flooded in from across Council space. Commander Yoon Tae-min's military base on the frontier had gone silent. His last transmission was a standard daily report. Then nothing. Dr. Kim Soo-jin's research station stopped sending data. The medical facility run by Dr. Choi Min-eseo showed no life signs. Every human presence in Council territory had vanished like morning mist. Director Thexmar called an emergency meeting. The crystal being pulsed with confused patterns as reports continued arriving. Perhaps they have accepted defeat and returned home to prepare tribute payments. But Elder Quenthak seemed troubled. The Zephyrian's energy form flickered with uncertain colors. Something feels wrong about this withdrawal. Too organized. Too complete. Intelligence Officer Kafvar, the hegemony, clicked his mandibles nervously. "My scouts report unusual activity in human space. Massive energy readings from their home system. Construction projects around every human world." "Construction of what?" Velthak asked. "Unknown. Our sensors cannot penetrate whatever shielding they have erected, but the power output suggests industrial activity on a scale we have never observed from their species." Thexmar's light dimmed slightly. "Send communication requests to Earth. Demand an explanation for this behavior." The responses came back within hours. Every attempt to contact human worlds received the same automated message. "Earth is reconsidering its galactic position. All diplomatic relations are temporarily suspended." Reconsidering their position? Quenthak's mind voice carried a trace of worry. What does this mean? Days passed. The silence from human space grew more disturbing with each report. Long-range sensors detected ships moving between human colonies, but their designs looked different, larger, more heavily armored than anything humans had built before. Trade routes that depended on human labor began failing. Mining operations slowed to a halt without human workers. Even the council cafeteria stopped serving human food because no human chefs remained to prepare it. How much did we depend on them? Velthak wondered aloud as he read the economic reports. The answer was more than anyone had realized. Humans had quietly become essential to dozens of council operations. They repaired equipment that other species found boring. They solved problems that required creative thinking. They worked in dangerous conditions that more advanced species avoided. Now they were gone, and the gaps in council society were becoming obvious. On day 15, the Krillian Confederacy struck again. Their raiders attacked 3 frontier colonies, destroying settlements and taking prisoners as slaves. The attack succeeded easily against the poorly defended worlds. But when the Krillian fleet approached Kepler, 442, where humans had operated a mining station, they found something strange. The station was completely empty, but it showed no signs of battle or hasty evacuation. The equipment was still running. The lights were on. Food was still warm in the cafeteria. The humans had simply vanished. Where did they go? Krillian Commander Bashko demanded as his soldiers searched the empty corridors. Sensors showed no ships left the system. No escape pods launched. They just disappeared. The mystery deepened when scouts reported similar findings across human territory. Colonies showed signs of massive evacuation, but no one could track where the populations had gone. It was as if millions of humans had simply stepped through doorways into another dimension. Council intelligence worked frantically to solve the puzzle. Spy satellites tried to penetrate human space, but found their signals blocked by unknown technology. Infiltrator teams discovered their ships could not enter human systems at all. Some kind of barrier prevented approach. This is beyond their technological capabilities. Kothvar insisted during another emergency meeting. Humans cannot create space warping barriers. They barely understand hyperspace navigation. But the evidence contradicted his certainties. Human space had become a black hole in Council intelligence networks. No information came out. No observers could get in. Elder Quenthak grew more agitated with each passing day. Their silence is not submission. Something is building in their territory. I can feel it through the quantum foam. Feel what? Thexmar demanded. Preparations. On a scale that makes our great wars look like children's games. As day 30 approached, the Council prepared enforcement actions against the defiant humans. Fleets began gathering at strategic points. Ultimatum messages were prepared. Plans were made to demonstrate why elder species commanded respect from younger ones. But in the depths of space, where human sensors watched every Council movement, Admiral Jang Hyunwoo reviewed the final attack plans. 47 targets. Simultaneous strikes. Complete surprise. The silence was about to end. And when it did, the galaxy would never be the same. All units, prepare for Operation Payback. He transmitted to the hidden fleet. Time to show the Council what humans do to bullies. Day 31 arrived with perfect silence from human space. The Galactic Council gathered in their massive chamber, preparing to discuss punishment for the defiant humans. Elder Quenthak's energy form glowed with satisfaction as he prepared the enforcement speech. Today we teach young species the price of disrespect, Thexmar announced, his crystal body blazing with authority. Then the alarm started screaming. Security Chief Velthak burst into the chamber, his tentacles writhing with panic. We are under attack. 47 locations across 12 systems are being hit simultaneously. The Council members froze in shock. Through the massive windows, they could see explosions lighting up the darkness of space. Krillian military stations were burning like dying stars. This is impossible, Quenthak whispered. No one has the fleet strength for coordinated attacks on this scale. On the main display screen, Admiral Jang Hyunwoo's face appeared. The human looked calm, almost peaceful, as massive warships moved behind him like hunting sharks. When he spoke, his voice carried to every Council member and every species in the galaxy. You want to know what humans are capable of when pushed. Today you learn. The attacks were unlike anything the Council had ever witnessed. Human ships appeared from impossible locations in space, using jump technology that should not have existed. Their weapons turned Krillian battle cruisers into expanding clouds of debris with single shots. At KRYLL Prime, Captain Ko Min-young led the ground assault on the planet's military headquarters. Her soldiers moved through the complex like a force of nature. Their powered armor made them faster than the eye could follow. Their weapons cut through Krillian defenses like hot knives through butter. Impossible! General Bashko screamed as his elite warriors fell around him. Our armor is the finest in the galaxy. Our weapons can destroy starships. Ko Min-young's helmet retracted, revealing a young woman's face marked with cold determination. Your armor was designed to fight Council species. We designed ours to fight everything. Her rifle fired once. Bashko's heavy battlesuit exploded like a balloon. In space above the planet, Human bombers released kinetic projectiles that struck with the force of nuclear weapons. But their targeting was impossibly precise. Military installations vaporized while civilian areas remained completely untouched. Krillian soldiers died, but not a single non-combatant was harmed. The assault on Krillian Fleet Command showed the true horror of human efficiency. Commander Park Sung-min's Marines breached the station's defenses in 17 minutes. They moved through corridors designed to stop armies, eliminating resistance with surgical precision. How are they so fast? A dying Krillian officer gasped as human soldiers flowed around him like deadly water. We trained for this exact scenario, Park replied simply. We studied your stations, your tactics, your weaknesses. For 50 years, we prepared for this day. Across 12 systems, the story repeated. Human forces struck with overwhelming power and impossible coordination. Krillian fleets that had terrorized space for centuries were reduced to wreckage in hours. The worst moment came when human forces reached the Krillian Supreme Commander's flagship, Admiral Lee Sung-ho's dreadnought, larger than anything humans had ever built, faced a massive alien vessel. Surrender now, and your crew will be spared, Lee broadcast to the enemy ship. Supreme Commander Vexkol's reply came back filled with rage. Humans are prey species. We have conquered 100 worlds. We fear nothing. Then you will die learning fear, Lee said quietly. The human dreadnought's main weapon fired once. The Krillian flagship, 3 kilometers of armored death, simply ceased to exist, not destroyed, erased. The energy beam left nothing behind but empty space. In the council chamber, representatives from 17 species watched their sensors in stunned silence. The attacks were more than military victories. They were demonstrations of power that made the council's ancient fleets look like children's toys. Their technology, Velthak whispered, staring at the tactical displays. It's centuries ahead of anything in our databases. That's impossible. Thexmar's light flickered with fear. We monitor all species development. Humans were primitive just days ago. But the evidence blazed across their screens. Human weapons that could erase matter. Human ships that move faster than physics should allow. Human soldiers in armor that made them superhuman. As the last Krillian military base fell silent, Admiral Jang appeared on every communication screen in Council space. Behind him, the wreckage of an entire civilization's military might drifted like cosmic dust. Earth remembers every slight, every lost life, every moment you called us primitive, he said. This is what humans do to those who threaten our people. The Krillian Confederacy no longer exists as a military force. The transmission continued, showing the aftermath of the attacks. Millions of Krillian soldiers dead, their fleets destroyed, their bases reduced to rubble. But their civilians were unharmed, watched over by human peacekeepers who provided food and medical care. This is our justice, Jang concluded, swift, complete, and merciful to the innocent. Choose your next words carefully, Council. Earth is no longer asking for permission to exist. The transmission ended, leaving the Council chamber in absolute silence. In less than 72 hours, humans had eliminated a threat that had plagued the galaxy for 800 years. Elder Quenthak's energy form had faded to barely visible wisps. What have we done? He whispered. The answer hung in the air like smoke from burning worlds. They had pushed humanity too far, and now they were learning what that mistake would cost them. The emergency council session began in chaos. Representatives from 17 species shouted over each other, their translators struggling to keep up with the panic. Security Chief Velthak stood at the central podium, reading reports that made no sense. The human fleet has positioned warships around every major council world, he announced, his voice shaking. They appeared overnight. Our sensors never detected their approach. Elder Quenthak's energy form flickered like a dying flame. How many ships? Over 3,000, all using technology we cannot identify, all aimed at our most important installations. The chamber doors opened with a sound like thunder. Ambassador Lee Minho walked in, but he was no longer alone. Captain Park Jiwoo marched beside him in full military dress. Behind them came General Nam Soo-hyun, Her uniform covered in medals the council had never seen. Admiral Jang Hyun-woo followed, his presence making the massive chamber feel suddenly small. The humans walked to the center of the room as if they owned it. Min-ho looked up at the towering alien beings who had dismissed him just weeks before. His expression was calm, almost peaceful. "Honored Council," he began, his voice carrying easily through the vast space. "Earth formally withdraws from this organization, effective immediately. Any species that wishes peaceful relations may negotiate directly with us." Thexmar's crystal body blazed with fury. "You cannot simply leave. The Council's authority spans the entire galaxy. Your authority exists only over those who accept it," Admiral Jang replied, "as you are about to discover." General Nam stepped forward, activating a holographic display that showed the galactic map. Red markers appeared around dozens of systems. 12 Council member species profited from Krillian raids through secret trade agreements. 7 provided intelligence that helped pirates target human colonies. 3 supplied weapons used to murder our civilians. The chamber erupted in denials and accusations. Representatives pointed claws and tentacles at each other, screaming protests in a dozen alien languages. But Nam continued speaking, her voice cutting through the noise like a blade. "All guilty parties have 72 hours to evacuate their military assets from the marked systems. After that, they will share the Krillian Confederacy's fate. This is madness." Quenthak's mind voice shattered with emotion. "You are threatening civilizations that have existed for millions of years. How did primitives like you develop such power?" Min-ho smiled, and somehow that expression was more frightening than any threat. "We didn't develop it as primitives. We developed it as humans who were tired of being underestimated." Captain Park activated another display. It showed human colonies throughout Council space, but now they looked completely different. What had appeared to be simple mining operations were actually massive weapons laboratories. Trade stations were revealed as military bases. Even the embassy where Min-ho had worked was a sophisticated intelligence center. "For 50 years, every human facility in Council space has been studying you," Park explained. "Every simple human miner was actually a trained observer. Every primitive cargo ship carried advanced sensors. Every human diplomat was gathering intelligence on Council capabilities. The implications crashed over the assembled aliens like a tsunami. Their junior partners have been watching them, learning their weaknesses, preparing for this moment while hiding in plain sight. You've been studying us while we studied you," General Nam added. "The difference is we were better at it." Velthak's tentacles writhed in confusion. "But your technology was centuries behind ours. We monitored your development. You monitored what we wanted you to see," Admiral Jang said quietly. "Every human world has underground facilities you never discovered. Every human ship has hidden capabilities your sensors never detected. We've been building this fleet since the day we first met your council." He gestured to the viewports, where human dreadnoughts hung in space like sleeping giants. These ships were constructed in secret facilities beyond the galactic rim, powered by technology we developed by studying every species we encountered, armed with weapons designed specifically to counter your defenses. The revelation hit the Council like a physical blow. For 50 years, they had believed humans were dependent junior members. In reality, Earth had been preparing for war while maintaining a perfect disguise of weakness. "What do you want from us?" Thexmar asked, his light dimming to almost nothing. "Justice," Min-ho replied simply, "and a new understanding of humanity's place in the galaxy. We demand you honor existing treaties," shouted the hegemony representative. Admiral Jang's smile was sharp as a knife. "The treaties where you called us useful tools and primitive laborers? Those treaties died with the Krillian Confederacy." Park activated one final display, showing dozens of alien species throughout Council space. 37 civilizations have already requested bilateral peace agreements with Earth. They understand that cooperation is more profitable than domination. "And the others?" Quenthak whispered. General Nam's expression grew cold. "They have 71 hours and 53 minutes to decide if they want to negotiate or join the Krillians in galactic history." As the humans prepared to leave, Minho turned back to address the stunned council one last time. You taught us an important lesson about galactic politics. The strong do whatever they can, while the weak suffer what they must. Thank you for the education. The chamber fell silent as the humans walked away, leaving behind a council that suddenly realized they were no longer the strongest force in the galaxy. 6 months after the human ultimatum, the galaxy looked completely different. Director Kim Hae-won stood on the observation deck of New Geneva Station, watching alien ships arrive for another round of treaty negotiations. The massive space station orbited at the junction of 5 major trade routes, its weapons platforms visible to every approaching vessel. 39 species signed peace agreements this month, reported Captain Cho Moran as she joined Kim at the viewing window. The hegemony is still refusing, but they're losing allies every day. Kim nodded, watching a Nethri gas ship dock carefully at the station's lower levels. Fear is a powerful motivator, but cooperation works better in the long run. The transformation had been swift and dramatic. Species that once looked down on humans now competed for Earth's attention. The old Galactic Council still met, but their chambers were half empty. Most of their former members had discovered that direct treaties with humanity offered better terms than Council membership ever had. Down in the diplomatic quarters, former Elder Quintac waited nervously in a small meeting room. The once mighty Zephyrian had requested a private audience with Ambassador Minho. His energy form was dim and flickering, showing his reduced status among his own people. Minho entered the room with Dr. Lee Se-young, Earth's Director of Xenological Studies. Both humans looked relaxed and confident, very different from the desperate supplicants who had once begged the Council for justice. "You wanted to speak with us?" Minho asked politely, taking a seat across from the alien being. Quentac's mind voice was barely a whisper. "I need to understand. How did your species hide such power? How did we miss the signs of your true capabilities?" Dr. Lee activated a wall display showing human cultural broadcasts that had been transmitted across the galaxy for decades. War movies played alongside military documentaries and science fiction stories. We never hid our capabilities. We broadcast them continuously for 50 years. Your entertainment transmission, she continued, showed exactly what humans were capable of. Every war film demonstrated our tactical thinking. Every survival story revealed our adaptability. Every historical documentary explained how we solved problems through violence when necessary. Minho leaned forward. "We told you exactly what we were. You just dismissed it as primitive fiction." The display showed scenes from human movies where small forces defeated larger enemies through superior planning and technology. It showed documentaries about human military history, with detailed explanations of strategy and logistics. It showed science fiction stories where humans fought alien invaders and won through determination and ingenuity. "We thought it was entertainment," Quintac whispered. "Stories to amuse your simple minds." "It was instruction," Dr. Lee corrected. "Every human child grows up learning these lessons. Every human soldier studies these strategies. We were teaching our entire species how to fight galactic wars while you thought we were playing games." Through the viewing window, they could see human patrol ships escorting a convoy of alien freighters. The merchant vessels belonged to species that had once raided human colonies. Now they paid tribute to Earth for safe passage through human-controlled space. "The irony," Minho said quietly, "is that we actually wanted to be your partners. We came to the Council hoping for mutual respect and cooperation. You could have had our friendship. Instead, you chose to see us as tools," Dr. Lee added. "So, we became the best tools in the galaxy. Tools for hunting pirates. Tools for eliminating threats. Tools for reshaping galactic politics." Quentac's energy form flickered with what might have been regret. "Can there be peace between our species?" Minho considered this for a long moment. The Zephyrian Collective never directly participated in attacks on human colonies. Your people provided intelligence to pirates, but you didn't pull triggers. There can be peace, but it comes with conditions. What conditions? Full disclosure of your intelligence networks, reparations to the families of those killed by pirates using your information, and a formal apology broadcast to every human world. The former elder seemed to shrink further. And if we refuse? Dr. Lee's expression remained pleasant, but her words carried the weight of a death sentence. Then you join the Krillian Confederacy in the history books. Far across the galaxy, Admiral Song Jinho was receiving reports from the frontier exploration fleets. Beyond former Council space, human ships had made contact with 17 new species. Each first contact followed the same pattern: a display of overwhelming force followed by an offer of peaceful cooperation. 16 of the new species have accepted the Terran Accords, reported Commander Park Sung-min from his flagship. One chose to test our resolve. And Admiral Song asked, their home world is now under human administration. The surviving population is learning to appreciate the benefits of cooperation. The communication ended, and Song returned to his tactical displays. Human influence was expanding beyond the old council borders at an unprecedented rate, not through conquest, but through the simple recognition that cooperation with Earth offered better terms than resistance. On New Geneva Station, Quenthak made his decision. The Zephyrian Collective accepts your terms. Minho nodded. Welcome to the new galactic order, one built on respect rather than fear. As the former elder departed, Dr. Lee watched him go. Do you think they've really learned their lesson? Minho smiled. They've learned that underestimating humanity was the biggest mistake in galactic history. That lesson will last for generations. Outside, human ships continue their patrols, carrying a simple message to every species in the galaxy. Cooperation brought prosperity, but threatening Earth's people brought swift and total destruction. The galaxy had a new order, and humanity intended to keep it that way.